Hello, my name is Professor Sweeney, and greetings to all of you who are enrolled in Fundamentals of Financial Accounting or Accounting 200. I just wanted to introduce myself so you can actually see me. You can see who's on the other end of the computer. I just want to give you some background about myself. I've been teaching at St. Joseph's College for 20 years now. I have taught a total of 29 years, so I've been teaching accounting 29 years, and I've taught in a number of schools throughout Long Island. I have an undergraduate degree in economics. I have an MBA in accounting, and I just completed a master's degree in pastoral counseling and spiritual care, which seems quite different from accounting, which it is. I have completed training as a hospital chaplain, and the next thing on my agenda is to apply for a grant to go back to school once again and get a master's in public health so I can do research in chaplaincy. So I'm sure the question on your minds is, what does accounting have to do with chaplaincy? Well, my objective is to establish that relationship. So the bottom line in every organization that deals with money is the dollar. And as you know, in healthcare, we have a shortage of dollars, and that we want to save as much money as we can. So my ultimate goal is to first show that chaplaincy intervention helps the healing process, that it reduces length of stay in the hospital, and also reduces the risk of readmission. And then I want to translate that into a dollar savings. So that's how I put it all together. All right, so that's my background. I have taught online before for many years. I taught microeconomics online, and I really enjoyed it. This is the first time I'm teaching accounting online, and what I find exciting about this is something new for me to do, but also too, there's been such an improvement in technology that there are so many things that I can do that I couldn't do before. And one of the things I couldn't do is a recording like this, and I also couldn't record my lectures. So what you're going to see in each module is you're going to have a lecture. For the most part, what you will be seeing, you won't be seeing me, you'll be seeing excerpts of PowerPoint presentations from the text. In the classroom, I do use the PowerPoints, but I don't use every single slide. So I've done the same thing in this course. There is a website that goes with this book that through which you can access the entire PowerPoint presentation for each chapter if you so desire. And I will somewhere on Canvas, probably I'll put it in module 1 under reading review, is I will give you the link for that website, and there are other things that you can get from that website as well. In the course outline, you do have information on the textbook, and a couple pages in, there is a long list of objectives, or what we hope we will accomplish, and what I hope you will get from this course that you will be bringing with you into additional coursework and ultimately into your career. But at the bottom of that page, there's the information on the textbook. The textbook is mandatory for this course. You cannot survive this course without the textbook. You'll be reading the chapters in the text, and your homework assignments will also come from the text. There are a number of formats of the textbook. You can get a loose leaf version. You can get the hard copy, with a hardcover, where it's bound. You could also use the ebook. I had originally the loose leaf version of the text. And what I discovered was that the pages were very thin and that they were ripping out of the binder. And my concern was that I would start losing pages. Now, of course, I used the text several times. And this text has been around a couple of years, so that if you go online, you should be able to find a used copy at a reasonable price. But don't hold off on getting the textbook. I've had students wait 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks. You're going to get behind if you do not have the textbook. All right, so the textbook is the only thing that you need to buy for this course. I'm going to go through some of the items in the syllabus, and you do have the syllabus under the syllabus tab in Canvas. A lot of the information in the first few pages is standard, so every course outline that comes from the Department of Accounting at St. Joseph's has this information. All right, so one thing I just want to point out to you is that because we are not in a physical location, office hours are going to have to be by appointment online, and you have my email address. And then we're skipping over the pages of course objectives. At the top of the next page, you have the grading criteria. And these criteria are all already loaded into the grade book in Canvas. So, as you complete assignments and I grade them, those grades will automatically show up in the grade book. And what gradebook will do is it'll recalculate your average throughout the semester so that you can see where you stand. And then we have determination of the final course grade. This comes right out of the St. Joseph's catalog, or in our case now, we have the catalog online. So if you look at your average, you can then check it out and see what your letter grade would be. The next section concerns final exam policy. Now, it is my hope and my wish that none of you miss the final exam. If you do miss the final exam, I have to give you an AB for the grade and for the final. Then you will need to contact the registrar at the college, and you will have to provide a legitimate reason for missing the exam. So it's for extenuating circumstances. So if you went on vacation and couldn't take the exam, that is not an excusable reason to have a makeup exam. All right. In the event that you have been approved for the makeup and you do not make up the exam, then the AB will be changed to a 0, and then that 0 will be calculated into the final average for the course, which of course will determine your final grade. And so obviously you would get a 0. So please don't do that. All right, on the next page, some of the next few items will apply to people who are on the Patchogue campus. One of them is security. So for those of you who are taking courses on campus, particularly at night, and you don't feel comfortable walking to your car, which is understandable, especially if you park far away from the buildings, then you can get a security escort. All right. The next item is advisement notes. So there's a lot of information on meeting with your academic advisor and getting advisement. Obviously, if you're an online student only and you do not live near the Long Island campus, then this does not apply to you in this format. So, and then for land-based students in the Brooklyn campus, of course, you would follow the guidelines for Brooklyn. The next part, students with disabilities, applies to everybody. So, by law, St. Joseph's College and all organizations must be in compliance with the Americans with Disabilities Act, the ADA. So, if you have a documented medical, physical, emotional, or learning issue that impact academic learning, then what you should do is you should contact Student Accessibility Services. If you're on the Long Island campus, you can go right to the office. If you're in Brooklyn, you can go right to the office. If you're in neither location, then you can contact the office via the number that I have provided on the course outline. So what the personnel will do here is they will look at your documentation. They will determine whether or not it's reasonable to give you any accommodations, and then if there are, they will determine which accommodations are appropriate given your disability. Now, all that information will be kept confidential by the office and, of course, by me. And on campus, at times I have gotten letters directly from the office. On other occasions, it has been up to the student to provide that information. So the law really requires self-disclosure, that the information must come from the student to the professor. Now, I have 3 children, and my second son is dyslexic, and when he was in college, he had to self-disclose that information. So he had a document which listed all of his accommodations. It was up to him to bring them to the professor. Sometimes he did, sometimes he didn't, and when he didn't, his performance wasn't so great. I also have a daughter who is now a junior at the University of New Hampshire. She's also dyslexic, but she got proper intervention earlier than my son did. And she does have accommodations, but she determined that she didn't need them. So she did not disclose them, and she's not using them, and she's doing fine. So it's up to you. If you really need to use those accommodations, don't hesitate to let me know. It is your right to use them if you're given them. I've had students that had accommodations that didn't tell me and who failed my course because they didn't want to use the accommodations, which are covered by law. All right, I have a section called Additional Policies and Classroom Procedures. And of course, we're not in a physical classroom, we're in a virtual classroom. All right, first of all, accounting is not an easy subject. I've taught for 29 years, and I would say in those 29 years, I have met less than 5 students whose brains are wired to do accounting. They were born being able to do accounting. As I mentioned before, I have a master's in accounting. My brain was not wired to do accounting. I had to train my brain. And at times, it was very nerve-wracking because it was not easy for me. But I did get through it. Times I wasn't so sure I was going to. So with a lot of hard work, I managed to get through it. And I do believe that you can do it as well. All right, homework must be submitted on time, as well as quizzes and other assignments, and the due dates are given to you. Now, what will happen is, let's say you have something due on Wednesday. It must be submitted by 11:59 p.m. Wednesday night, all right? So all the due dates will be by 11:59 p.m. It's a little less confusing than midnight. The other thing is that in each module, I will always have the read and review open and the assignments. So with the read and review, you have the recorded lectures, so you can go back and look at them as often as you want. Also, for those of you who like to get ahead in the course, Then you could go ahead, read the chapters, and do the homework and submit it. The only thing is that the homework will not be reviewed until the due date. If you're really industrious and you want to get ahead in the project, you can do that as well, but that's up to you. I'm not putting any pressure on you. All right, so since this is a challenging course, if you have any questions, you need to let me know. And there are a few ways you can do that. One, you can email me directly. Also, in each module, I have a discussion board called Questions. You can type in your questions right there, and of course, I will be checking that discussion board, and I will answer questions, but I also would encourage each of you to answer questions for your classmates. And the reason for that is, just based on my experience in the classroom, is that I have found at times that some students understand another student's explanation better than they may understand mine, because maybe of the terminology that another student may use, or just the approach. All right? Now the homework. The homework will be graded for completeness. You've done the whole problem. You've done all the problems. So you get 8 points out of 10 for that. Then there are 2 points for correctness. Did you get the homework correct? All right? So you'll get a total, the max you can get is 10 points. All right, on the first page of each module, there will be an agenda. And the agenda will list by day the tasks that you should have completed. There's also a read and review. And that read and review, you'll be told the chapter that you need to read, and sometimes you're not going to need to read the whole chapter, and I'll tell you what pages to read. And then you'll also have a recorded lecture. All right, so that recorded lecture largely will be from the PowerPoint presentations that go with the book. I am not using every slide. I'm only using the slides that I feel are important. As I probably mentioned before, there is a website that goes with the book, and I'm going to give you the link that will enable you to access the PowerPoints in their entirety if you find them helpful. You may find them helpful, you may not. I've had a few students who have used them, most of them have not. One thing I want to caution you about, however, is that those PowerPoints are not a substitute for the book. And I have had a number of students who have tried to use just the PowerPoints and not the book. I realize that the books are expensive, but it's important for you to have a book. Now, your grade, as you have seen on the grading criteria, and you will see as we go through the course, is based on a lot of different things. You have 4 interim exams. You have a final exam. You have a quiz almost every week. You have homework just about every week. There are discussion boards, but they're not every week. And you have the final project. So therefore, there are no extra credit assignments. So I just want to reiterate that. It's in the course outline in bold and extra big print, but I just want to reiterate that once again, there are no extra credit assignments. The exam, the final exam, will include both multiple choice questions and will include problems, and will be comprehensive over the entire semester. There could be some interim exams where you'll also have multiple choice questions, but I'll let you know that ahead of time. All of the quizzes, with the exception of the quiz on the financial statement project, will have 10 multiple choice questions, and they will be conceptual in nature only. There will be no problems, so there are no numbers on those. In terms of the quiz for the project, that is based on the notes, the extensive pages of notes that I've given you on how to do the project. And the purpose of this quiz is to make sure that you read this very carefully and that you understand it. Those questions will require short answers, and that quiz will be counted for a grade. So be sure you read those notes very carefully. Also, I will be providing you with a PowerPoint presentation on the project. So what I have on this PowerPoint is I have the major points that I want to cover. I will be referring to the description that I put together on the project, which you have. Before you view the PowerPoint, I would strongly recommend that you read the notes on the project. And then I would also suggest that as you go through the PowerPoint, that you look at the notes, all right? And if you have any questions on the project, you may email me, or again, go to the questions discussion board in the module and list those questions. All right, then you have a page like this. I don't know if you can see it too well. That's the schedule for the course. The first column is the module, and of course Canvas breaks everything up into modules. We also call them weeks. And then we have the dates for all of these modules. So when they start and when they end. All right. And then the next, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pages, 6 pages include the description of the project. All right. So I am looking forward to teaching this course. As I mentioned, I've taught microeconomics online before. I've really enjoyed teaching the course. I'm excited about teaching this course online, and you might have mentioned before that one of the things that makes it exciting is that I have students from different parts of the country and also international students. So I welcome you to the course. I hope that you find it beneficial. Also know that I am here for you, and do not hesitate to contact me. So I wish you much luck, and I enjoy working with you this semester. Have a good semester. Thanks.